In the early 2010s, Japanese music began spreading their influence through anime. Songs like Crossing Field, Unravel, Grey no Yumiya became tracks known worldwide. For many people around the world, these tracks became their first real introduction to Japanese music. But as the years went on, something changed. Japanese music started breaking out of its boxes, and it wasn't just anime anymore. Streaming took over, and suddenly, J-pop didn't need an anime tie-in to travel globally. So today, we're going back 5 years into the past, revisiting the songs that topped the charts in 2021. The tracks that defined an era, reshaped the sound of modern J-pop, and helped push Japanese music onto the global stage. Before we start, I just want to clear something up. There are 2 K-pop songs in this top 10, and since I don't really have the expertise to break those down properly, I don't want to force commentary where I don't have anything meaningful to add. So for those tracks, I'll just keep things brief, but to make up for it, we're starting earlier. Instead of number 10, we're going all the way back to number 12. And here's the funny part. Even though number 12 is officially a J-pop song, it is also technically a K-pop song, which I'll explain when we get there. So we're going even further back. Let's start this at number 13. At number 13, we have Cry Baby by Official Higedandism, released May 7, 2021 as a digital single, currently sitting at 283 million streams on Spotify and 308 million streams on YouTube Music. This song peaked number 4 on the Billboard Japan Hot 100 weekly chart in November and is also ranked number 8 on Joy Sound's Anisong karaoke charts, which says a lot about how widespread it was. This song was the opening for Tokyo Revengers, one of the most talked about anime of 2021, and the energy, tension, and desperation of the song matched the anime perfectly. Higedan was already riding massive momentum after Pretender in 2019, and because of that, Crybaby felt inescapable when it dropped. This was easily one of the most talked about songs of the year, so honestly I was surprised to see it land at only number 13, but it really shows how stacked 2021 was. If you were anywhere near the anime or J-pop space, you definitely heard this song, and even if you didn't hear the song itself, you probably knew the title. I always got it mixed up with Shout Baby, but either way, everyone was listening to Cry Baby. And Higedan never disappoints. Their vocals are insane, the emotion is there, the arrangement is always on point, they've got an incredible range, they can do soft, dramatic, explosive, all of it. And this was right in the middle of Higedan's insane run. Pretender, Yesterday, Cry Baby, Mixed Nuts, Subtitle, they were dropping hit after hit around this time. And that's why seeing Crybaby at number 13 doesn't mean it fell short. It just proves how ridiculous competition was that year. As of now, Higedan's still going strong and they remain one of the most beloved names in the space. Coming in at number 12, we have Step in a Step by Nizi Ut, released December 2nd, 2020, currently sitting at 55 million streams on Spotify and 169 million streams on YouTube Music. The song peaked number 1 on the Billboard Japan Hot 100 weekly chart in December 2020. Nizi Ut is a Japanese girl group formed through a JYP-led audition program, and this was their first official debut single. And this was what I meant earlier when I said a J-pop song but technically a K-pop song. All the members are Japanese, the lyrics are Japanese, but it has the elements of K-pop, and it definitely feels more like a Japanese cover of a K-pop song rather than a J-pop song. The song was released off the momentum of their massive breakout hit Make You Happy, and it's no surprise that this song performed extremely well. As of where they are now, Nizi Ut has mostly been focused on touring, with their newer releases seeing moderate success. They're still a solid name domestically, but from an outsider's perspective, not quite a group that immediately rings a bell. Coming in at number 11, we have Wasirena by Awesome City Club. Released January 27, 2021, currently sitting at 148 million streams on Spotify and 124 million streams on YouTube Music. This song peaked number 5 on the Billboard Japan Hot 100 weekly charts in March. Honestly, I'm surprised that it landed at number 11. I love the song, don't get me wrong, but it's one of those songs that didn't get as much attention outside of Japan. If you search on YouTube though, you'll see tons of covers, so it was clearly super popular in Japan. The song even earned them a spot at Japan's annual NHK Red White Song Battle, which is a huge deal for any artist. What's impressive is that this was by a fairly unknown group, and it wasn't tied to an anime or drama. It was inspired by the hit drama We Made a Beautiful Bouquet, and they pulled it off perfectly. The song itself is really solid, the delivery is unique and emotional, and the harms are what makes it really special, and you can immediately tell why it resonated with Japanese listeners. Unfortunately, they are just a one-hit wonder, and their newest songs haven't had as much success. They've mostly been appearing on radio shows, and they just wrapped up a live house tour as well. But still, making it into the top 15 of the year-end chart is a huge achievement, and for a group that isn't new or particularly young, this is something most artists only dream of. At the end of the day, really impressive work from Awesome City Club, and I'm excited to see if they have more left in them. Now going into number 10, here's where we start talking about the big boys, and the top 10 this year is absolutely stacked. We have so many classics and songs for the ages.
領域展開
At number 10, we have Kai Kai Kitan by Eve, released October 3rd, 2020, currently sitting at 520 million streams on Spotify and 726 million streams on YouTube Music. This song peaked number 7 on the Billboard Japan Hot 100 weekly chart in January, number 6 on Joy Sound's Any Song Karaoke chart, and number 19 on Joy Sound's overall karaoke chart. Thus no surprise that it's here. The anime opening for Jujutsu Kaisen during peak hype is just a recipe for success. The song is catchy, high energy, and easy to sing. Well, at least you can follow the lyrics. Because of the anime connection, Kai Kai Kitan became one of the most recognizable anime openings of recent years, especially among anime fans worldwide. The guitars, drums, and Eve's dynamic vocals create a sound that mirrors the anime's tension, and the song also plays with the light versus dark contrast, reflecting the story's themes. Eve wrote, produced, and performed the track, handling vocals, lyrics, and composition. He built off his hit song Dramaturgy from a couple years before and released his most popular song to date. Much like Awesome City Club, Eve has just been doing live shows, keeping his fanbase engaged. His new songs are performing decently, although not nearly as successful as this one of course, but he's been active since 2009, almost 20 years now, so I think we can give him a break. Honestly, it's kinda hard to argue with this track being in the top 10, it's catchy and tied to one of the biggest animes of the decade. Next up at number 9, we have Niji by Masaki Suda. Released on November 25th, 2020, currently sitting at 140 million streams on Spotify and 242 million streams on YouTube Music, this song peaked number 2 on the Billboard Japan Hot 100 weekly charts in December 2020. This song was also ranked number 4 on Joy Sound's Any Song Karaoke charts and number 10 on Joy Sound's overall karaoke chart. This one comes with no surprise as well. The song was used as the theme song for the movie Stand By Me Doraemon 2. Doraemon is a cultural icon in Japan, being a show that many grew up watching, giving the song an instant hit of nostalgia. Unlike Kai Kai Kitan, Niji is slower, more melodic, and emotional, focusing on heartfelt vocals over high-energy instrumentation. The artist behind the song, Masaki Suda, is not only a singer but also a well-known actor in Japan, which gives his music crossover appeal. Paired with the reach of a beloved anime movie, the song became a massive hit in Japan. Musically, the track features gentle guitar and piano, allowing Suda's vocals and emotional delivery to shine. The lyrics focus on love, memory, and connection, which tie directly into the themes of the movie. Overall, Niji helps cement Suda as a serious musician, not just actor turned singer, and this man can literally do it all. Coming in at number 8, we have an artist who is no stranger to the scene, and you probably expected them to show up at some point. We have Gunjo by Japan's number 1 duo, YOASOBI. Released on September 5th, 2020, currently sitting at 399 million streams on Spotify and 441 million streams on YouTube Music, Gunjo peaked number 6 on the Billboard Japan Hot 100 weekly chart in March 2021, staying on chart for 214 weeks. Gunjo's cover was also the 5th most viewed video on the first take with over 122 million views. The song was inspired by the manga Blue Period, a story centered around self-expression, artistic struggle, and chasing passion despite uncertainty. A really cool detail about the song is that the chorus features Plassonica, the group Ikura was part of before YOASOBI, and this connection added an extra layer to the meaning of the song. Gunjo didn't explode just because it was good. It was tied to a popular manga, it was used in a chocolate commercial, and yes, it even became a meme. Musically, this track feels very YOASOBI. It features an almost a cappella style refrain with group vocals, clapping, and the gradual build-up, and it feels communal, like everyone's singing together. Lyrically, the song hit at the perfect time. We were coming right off COVID, and a lot of people lost direction in life. Some were struggling mentally, financially, or even creatively. And Gunjo became a source of motivation, encouraging people to keep going, to chase their dreams, even when things feel uncertain. Personally, I think this is one of YOASOBI's strongest songs lyrically, and as someone who's been to their live shows, I can say that this is one of the most meaningful and fun songs to sing together with the fans. Overall, this is not just a catchy song but a meaningful one as well. It is a song that really captured the mood of the time and earned them a spot at the 72nd NHK Red White Song Battle. As for how they're doing now, we'll get to that later because they've got a few more songs coming up. Coming in at number 7, we have another artist who is no stranger to the scene, Usewa by one of Japan's top artists, Ado. Released on October 23rd, 2020, currently sitting at 291 million streams on Spotify and 578 million streams on YouTube Music, this song peaked number 1 on the Billboard Japan Hot 100 weekly chart in April 2021. The song also reached number 2 on Joy Sound's overall karaoke chart, and honestly, who doesn't love a little screaming at karaoke? The song became one of the fastest in history to reach 100 million streams on Billboard Japan, and Ado also became one of the youngest solo artists to achieve that milestone with a debut song. The title Usewa comes from urusai wa, roughly meaning shut the fuck up. The lyrics are bold and confrontational, openly criticizing societal expectations, workplace culture, and so-called common sense. Because of that, the song became hugely popular with younger listeners. It turned into an anthem of frustration and rebellion. Adult's raw, aggressive delivery perfectly channels that energy, and this even resulted in some schools banning the song. Thanks to its explosive hook and attitude, Usewa was widely labeled the 2021 youth anthem in Japan. What makes this even crazier is that Ado was just 17 years old around this release. She had been active as an udaite, gaining attention through online covers before her debut, and it's honestly insane how talented she is. To have that vocal range, power, and control at 17 is just mind-blowing. Usewa completely set the stage for her career, and it paved the way for future hits and made her one of the breakout J-pop soloists of the early 2020s. I don't think I need to explain how she's doing now. She's one of the most popular artists in recent years, consistently topping charts, tours selling out, and a huge influence in J-pop's global growth. She is easily a top 3 artist for the Western J-pop market, and especially impressive considering how early she still is in her career. Safe to say, she's had an amazing run so far, and I'm excited to see if she can eventually drop a song that stays #1 on the year-end charts. Coming in at number 6, we have Butter by BTS. Released May 21st, 2021, this song is currently sitting at 1.4 billion streams on Spotify and 1.9 billion streams on YouTube Music. Butter peaked #1 on the Billboard Japan Hot 100 weekly chart for multiple weeks in 2021, and I don't think this one needs much explanation, because at this point, BTS is already a household name. Even if you've never heard the full song, you've probably heard the chorus or at least the smooth like butter line, and this is just another one of those songs released during their golden run. It became an instant hit and the streams kinda speak for itself. Now as we break into the top 5, these aren't just regular mainstream songs anymore. The difference between 1 to 5 and 6 to 10 is massive. This is where the heavy hitters live. These are the household J-pop classics, songs that go beyond the fan base, tracks that reach people who don't even listen to J-pop. Especially in 2021, these songs didn't just top charts, they stuck. They lingered in people's minds long after the year ended. They stuck around long enough to shape tastes, trends, and memories. This wasn't just a great year for music, it was a turning point. These songs defined an era. These songs pushed J-pop further onto the global stage, redefined what mainstream success looked like, and changed the sound of the scene moving forward. What you're about to hear aren't just rankings, they're the soundtrack of an era. Songs that spark debates, songs that still get played today, songs that will always be mentioned when people talk about the greatest J-pop runs of all time. Welcome to the top 5. In a world that has wronged us, I'll abandon my weakness and become something stronger. Strong enough to protect you. Strong enough to make sure you never cry again. Strong enough to bring back your smile. And if a monster is what I'll become, then so be it. One of the most recognizable opening lines in any song history. Coming in at number 5, we have one of YOASOBI's magnum opus, Kaibutsu, serving as the opening for Beastars Season 2. Released on January 6, 2021, currently sitting at 413 million streams on Spotify and 698 million streams on YouTube Music, this song peaked number 2 on the Billboard Japan Hot 100 weekly chart in March 2021, staying on chart for 173 weeks. Kaibutsu also reached number 3 on Joy Song's Any Song Karaoke chart and number 8 on Joy Song's overall karaoke chart. Not just domestically, the song had major global impact too, being the only Japanese song listed on Time's 10 Best Songs of 2021. Written from the perspective of a monster trying to protect someone they love, Kaibutsu directly mirrors the theme of Beastars: instinct versus morality, violence versus kindness, identity versus self-control. Lyrically, the song explores suppressing one's darker side, becoming strong not to dominate but to protect, and the fear of hurting someone you care about. There's a powerful contrast between Legoshi's gentle and kind nature because he is arguably the kindest carnivore in the show, and the lyrics implying he won't hesitate to change himself to protect the ones he loves, even if that means becoming feared, becoming misunderstood, and becoming a monster. That same contrast carries into the delivery of the song itself. Ikura's usually sweet and clear vocals take on a darker, almost villainous tone, which brilliantly mirrors the song's central theme. Kaibutsu is darker, faster, more intense. The song constantly switches between controlled verses and explosive choruses, and that contrast reflects the inner conflict of the monster and lines up perfectly with the anime's narrative. The sharp rhythm and bass gives the song a predatory feel, like a monster is creeping up to you. It feels inevitable. But then the chorus shifts to a warmer tone. Ikura stops suppressing her vocals, the arrangement turns very piano heavy, like a shining light cutting through the darkness, chasing away the monster, helping the protagonist hold on to his morality. This song is a really good demonstration of what peak YOASOBI looked like. Everything from the lyrics to the arrangement to the vocals, there are no weak points throughout the song. But most importantly, Kaibutsu proved that YOASOBI could do it all. They could do high, they could do dark, and still deliver deep storytelling. The song solidified them as more than just hitmakers, but artists who could adapt their sound to any narrative. As a massive YOASOBI fan, this is my third favorite song of theirs, and it's not because I'm a big Beastars fan. Like I said earlier, this song has no weak points, and from a pure musical standpoint, this is YOASOBI at their best. And this song live is a completely different beast, just pure adrenaline. The intro is insanely hype, it elevates everything, and it just adds so much more to the experience, and that is what's truly cemented it as one of my favorites.
立派にできましたよ。
Released October 14th, 2020, currently sitting at 217 million streams on Spotify and 497 million streams on YouTube Music. Peaked number 1 on the Billboard Japan Hot 100 weekly chart for multiple weeks in 2021. Also peaked number 8 on the Billboard Global 200 weekly chart in October 2020. Also reached number 1 on Joy Song's Any Song Karaoke chart and number 4 on Joy Song's overall karaoke chart. One of the most statistically dominant performances we have ever seen from an Any Song. Coming in at number 4, we have a resurgence of one of the OGs of the Any Song scene. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes, serving as the emotional centerpiece for Demon Slayer Mugen Train, a film that went on to become the highest grossing anime movie of all time. Lighting it up at number 4, we have Homura by Lisa. Demon Slayer is known for many things, and sure, we could debate all day whether they did right or wrong, but the one thing that truly set it apart was how it pioneered a shift towards slower, more emotional Any Song for shonen anime. Whether you like the series or not, and it's totally fair if you don't, you can't deny that its soundtrack usage is elite. Similar to Kamado Tanjiro no Uta, Homura is the complete opposite of bombastic hype tracks. It's restrained, quiet, and devastating. The song is built around a slow, deliberate piano progression with Lisa's raw, emotionally exposed vocal delivery. Every note exists to serve the emotion. Lyrically, Homura explores loss and grief, acceptance of death, carrying someone's will forward, and love that continues even after goodbye. The flame itself becomes a symbol, a life that burns brightly, bringing warmth and hope to everyone it touches, even after it fades away. And as its name suggests, Homura perfectly mirrors the flame Hashira Rengoku, about the sacrifice and the message he leaves behind, that even if your flame goes out, the warmth you gave to others will continue to light the way forward. The placement of the song in the movie played a huge role in its impact, and they absolutely knew what they were doing with this shit. Putting Homura right after Rengoku's death and Kamado Tanjiro no Uta is honestly diabolical. I still remember watching it in the cinema, and even though I didn't cry, because Roman never cried, the moment Homura started playing, everyone around me did. And you have to give massive props to Lisa. The techniques she displays here are sensational. The balance between strength and vulnerability, the control over her vocals, the emotion she's able to convey, it wraps the film up perfectly like a final embrace. A true gift to fans and one of the most powerful moments the Any Song scene has ever produced. As of now, Lisa has mainly been focusing on touring and recently celebrated her 15-year debut anniversary. She's entering the latest stage of her career, and honestly, she's earned that. Lisa has had an incredible run, one of the most recognizable and influential figures in the Any Song scene, period. She helped define an era, set the standard for Any Songs, and left a legacy that very few artists can match. I'm not expecting another massive chart-dominating hit, but if she still has one more song left in her, I'd be more than happy to be proven wrong. A legend, regardless of what comes next. Now, as we step into the top 3, before we even say the title, before the numbers, before the charts, I want you to think about the songs that define the 2020s. There are songs that get popular, and then there are songs that define a generation. More than anime, more than J-pop, classics that reshape the entire landscape. In 2021, there was no escaping this song. 2 years after its release, it was still everywhere. If you listen to Japanese music at all, you heard it. If you didn't, you still heard it. Boasting over 2 billion in total combined streams across YouTube, YouTube Music, and Spotify, one of, if not the most popular J-pop song of all time, a song that turned a duo into a phenomenon, a debut that didn't just introduce an artist, it announced a new era of J-pop. Released November 16th, 2019, yep, 2019, 2 whole years before this chart concluded. currently sitting at 731 million streams on Spotify and 1.1 billion streams on YouTube Music. Peaked number 1 on the Billboard Japan Hot 100 weekly chart for multiple weeks in 2020, peaked number 16 on the Billboard Global 200 weekly charts in January 2021, staying on for an insane 65 weeks. Also reached number 3 on Joy Song's overall karaoke chart, and the second most viewed video on the first take with 154 million views, and crowned the number 1 song on the Billboard Japan Hot 100 year-end chart of 2020. Coming in at number 3, the song that defined YOASOBI's rise, the song of the 2020s, their piece de resistance, Yoru ni Kakeru. Yoru ni Kakeru was based on the short story An Invitation from Thanatos by Maya Hoshino, and this is where YOASOBI's signature concept began, turning novels into music. This was YOASOBI's debut song, and despite starting out slow, the song rapidly gained traction through streaming algorithms, covers on YouTube, TikTok, karaoke rooms, and before long, everyone knew this song. People of all ages were listening to it, everyone was covering it, and I don't think the impact and influence it had could be described. It's just one of those songs that completely took over the scene. For many listeners, this was their first real exposure to modern J-pop, and it was a gateway song for an entire generation of new fans. Musically, it sounds bright and fast-paced, it's built around bright synths, driving tempo, extremely catchy melodic hooks, and paired with Ikura's light, cheerful vocals. This contrast is intentional and key to the song's identity because lyrically the song deals with emotional dependence, escapism, depression, suicidal ideation, and running away together as a form of emotional surrender. It sounds uplifting, but what it's really doing is hiding pain behind the melody, and ironically, that contrast helped it spread. The song was released right as the world was entering COVID, and it exploded during lockdowns. Themes of loneliness, emotional reliance, feeling lost resonated deeply with people, especially young listeners, but honestly, anyone who was struggling. It wasn't just a hit, it felt personal, and despite its darkness, the brightness of the sound gave people comfort, almost like saying that even in the worst moments, life keeps moving. The song not only set the stage for YOASOBI, it became a song that pioneered the streaming era of J-pop songs. It proved that a song doesn't need anime or drama tie-ins to dominate, and most importantly, it became one of the most important J-pop songs of the last decade. As of how they're doing right now, there's honestly not much explanation needed. They're still at the very top of Japan's music scene, 3 albums released, sold out tours across Japan and around the world, and a catalogue filled with songs that continue to dominate streaming and charts. At this point, YOASOBI aren't just successful, they're already one of the most impactful groups in modern J-pop history. The only real question left is that can they take that influence even further and turn that dominance into true long-term global household recognition. Coming in at number 2, we have Dynamite by BTS, released August 21st, 2020, currently sitting at 2.2 billion streams on Spotify and 3.4 billion streams on YouTube Music. The song peaked number 2 on the Billboard Japan Hot 100 weekly charts for multiple weeks in 2020. I'll admit, it's a bit of a bummer that I can't dive too deep into this one, but it gives us a bit of breathing room before number 1, so that's not that bad I guess. But like I said before, it's BTS, you will be living under a rock if you've never heard of them. This was their first full English single, and much like Butter, it became a global phenomenon, topping charts across countless countries and becoming the most popular song to date. As of 2026, BTS is gradually resuming full group activities after members completed military service, with a world tour on the horizon. And let's be real, every show will sell out instantly. Even as a non-K-pop fan, there is no denying their impact. They are one of the most influential K-pop groups of all time, to the point of being invited to the White House, a run most artists could only dream of. When people think of Japanese songs, most minds immediately jump to any song. High energy, fast BPMs, shonen openings built to make you feel invincible. But that's only one side of the spectrum. Japan has always had a soft spot for the quiet songs, the sad songs, the ones that sit with you in silence. Songs made for the losers of life's events, or the people left behind after the story ends. Songs about nostalgia, about a relationship that's already over, but never really left. It's the moment when someone who's lost everything sits alone and replays every choice they wish they made differently. All they're left with are memories that haven't learned how to fade yet, and songs that remind them why they still hurt. This isn't the first time a song like this has topped the charts, and it won't be the last. Maybe that's because Japanese culture has always understood impermanence. Because no matter how beautifully a flower blooms, one day it will wilt. And maybe that's the point, to remind us to cherish the moments while they're still here. Just like how the pain of a breakup never truly fades, I'm sure the memory of this song won't either. At number 1, we have Dried Flower by Yuri. Released October 25th, 2020, currently selling at 336 million streams on Spotify and 420 million streams on YouTube Music. This song peaked number 2 on the Billboard Japan Hot 100 weekly chart, consistently staying at the top 5 for multiple weeks in 2021. Also peaked number 48 on the Billboard Global 200 in January 2021. This is the 4th most viewed video on the first take with 131 million views, and it also reached number 1 on Joy Sound's overall karaoke chart. Dried Flower is one of the defining male solo J-pop ballads of the early 2020s, and while it may not have had the global reach of some others we've discussed, its domestic influence was massive. It's a song that's easy to sing, easy to learn, but most importantly, easy to connect with. Musically, the arrangement is simple. It allows Yuri's vocals and lyrics to shine and allow him to convey the emotions and pain throughout the song, adding to the emotional impact. In my back number video, I've discussed how the use of vocal registers can directly change the mood of the song, and Yuri demonstrates this well with the heavy use of head voice. Even though he himself states that he does this to keep the song from being quote-unquote too boring, I'm certain that it's for the emotional weight as well. Lyrically, Dried Flower is about a relationship that's already over, love that's faded but not forgotten, watching someone move on, and emotional attachment that lingers even when it shouldn't. The Dried Flower metaphor represents love that was once alive and beautiful, now preserved only as a memory, still meaningful but no longer growing. It's about accepting what's done while still honoring what it meant. The song became Yuri's signature and most well-known song. It helped establish him as a top-tier male soloist and not just a cover artist. Like Kenshin Yonezu's Lemon, Dried Flower is another proof that songs don't need to be hype or spectacle to dominate the charts, and sometimes, relatability is the secret to success. As of now, Yuri has been touring across Asia. He's had a few more hits after Dried Flower and 4 albums under his belt. He is very active on YouTube, so you can check that out. He posts mostly covers with others, and personally, I enjoy them a lot. Overall, although not as much of a household name as other artists, he is still up there among the big names and definitely has had a very successful career, apart from a few scandals. I'm a big fan of his music, so I will obviously be excited to see if he can top the charts again. As we close the chapter on the songs that shaped 2021, we look back on a year that didn't just give us hits, it sparked a new era. A moment where some of our brightest stars stepped into the spotlight, and J-pop spread its influence across the world, claiming a place on a global stage. 5 years later, we can see it clearly. These tracks weren't just trends. They were foundations. As humans, we're always searching for something new. New trends, new sounds, things that make everything feel fresh again. But when things get stale, there are things we always come back to. The ones that still hold up. The ones that outlast the hype. The ones that become reference points for everything that comes after. These are the tracks we return to. Not out of nostalgia, but because they last. Because they don't just define a year, they define a generation, and an era that will always be remembered long after the time has passed.